यह ज्ञान की दुनिया, यहाँ दुनिया का ज्ञान, कृषि विज्ञान और अनुसंधान, नए क्षितिज अब छू रही शिक्षा, ऑनलाइन पढ़ाई संग लग रही कक्षा।
I am Ajit, working as Principal Scientist in Indian Agricultural Statistics Research Institute, New Delhi. I extend a very warm welcome to all the delegates present in this auditorium, as well as all those friends who have joined online to the Plenary Session 5 on Blended Learning Ecosystem and Community Outreach. It's my proud pleasure to introduce the co-chairs of this session. I humbly request Dr. B.N. Tripathi, sir, Deputy Director General, Animal Science, Indian Council of Agriculture, sir, to please join us on the dais, please. Dr. B.N. Tripathi, sir, is presently serving as Deputy Director General, Animal Science, Indian Council of Agriculture, New Delhi. He is pioneer in the field of veterinary pathology and diagnosis of infectious diseases. He has published more than 125 research articles, 3 books and 1 patent to his credit. He has received many awards, including International Wellcome Trust Fellowship, London 2003, Dr. Jan and Vidas Outstanding Pathologist Award, Best Teacher Award of IVRI, and fellowships of 4 science academics. He has visited many European countries, Denmark, Australia, Japan, etc. for pursuing his research endeavors. Sir, we extend a very warm welcome to you. Thank you very much for coming, sir. Now I request our second co-chair, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He is Director, Indian Agricultural Statistics Research Institute, New Delhi. Dr. Rajendra Prasad is presently serving as Director, ICAR, Indian Agricultural Statistics Research Institute, New Delhi. Now, sir, we have 3 keynote speakers in this session. Professor Dennis Whitelock, Director for Open University UK, sir, who is joining online. Professor Dennis, can you hear me?
I can, thank you.
Good afternoon, Professor Dennis from India. I extend a very warm welcome to you and thank you very much for joining. Now I request Professor, thank you madam. Now I request Professor Virendra Kumar Vijayji. He is National Coordinator, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, Minister of Education, Government of India. Sir, please come and join us with us. Now I request Dr. Alka Mishra ji, who is Deputy Director General, National Informatics Center, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, New Delhi. Madam, you are cordially invited to please come and join us with us. So this was all the brief about the session. Now I hand over the dance to the co-chairs. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ajit, for introducing the dais. Now, for 2.5 days, we have already had 4 plenary sessions, and by this time, all of you and everybody might have learned what exactly blended learning is and how much it is required in the present context. And so the last session, this is the plenary session 5th, is on blended learning ecosystem. And so everything to happen, we must have an adequate and appropriate ecosystem and also community outreach. So for this, since we are already late, so I will request our learned speakers to take 15 to 16 minutes. That will be great help to run this session in a timely manner. And we have got 3 distinguished speakers today, keynote speakers. Dr. Dennis Whitelock, she is the Director of Open University, United Kingdom. And the second key lecture note will be given by Dr. Virendra Kumar Vijay. He is the National Coordinator, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, Ministry of Education. And Dr. Alka Mishra, Director General, on my right side, and National Informatics Center, New Delhi. So now first, before I invite Dr. Dennis Whitelock, let me introduce her briefly. She is the Director of Institute of Educational Technology at Open University, United Kingdom. She is a Professor of Technology Enhanced Learning and has over 25 years of experience in artificial intelligence for designing, researching, and evaluating online computer-based learning in higher education. Dr. Dennis is currently serving board members and Vice President Research for European Distance and E-Learning and Digital Learning Europe. She is a Fellow of Academy of Social Sciences and EDEL. So let me invite Professor Dennis Whitelock for her presentation. Dr. Dennis, please.
So what I want to talk to you today about is digital assessment in a blended learning environment, and who is driving this work and who are the disruptors. COVID, of course, was a big move to digital and became very important with respect to assessment, as we couldn't do face-to-face examinations, and there were issues about trust and plagiarism. So how can AI support us? But I think in all these discussions about assessment, we must think about the students. And these are some drawings that students made for a doctoral project. And you can see how difficult they find assessment, and more so in this diagram. And this was Chris McKillock's work. So we need to maintain our empathy with our user, especially when they are not with us face to face, and to think about the feedback we give using socio-emotive content, and also feedback that will help them move forward with advice for action. Now, it's difficult at times to receive feedback. It's not just a cognitive response. So here's a system that we built using these categories, BAILS categories, to classify all the comments the tutors made on the feedback to the student. You can see here that there are positive and negative reactions that can be recorded, and also in what he calls, BAILS did this work in the 50s, attempted answers, directing, evaluating, orientating, other things we do in teaching. So these were agreeable to teaching comments and the questions as well. So we analysed a great number of scripts, and we've got A, B, C, and D represent those BAILS categories, and the pass 1 is the highest. Here you can see that if you have a high pass, there's more praise given to you. The B areas, categories, were all about teaching comments, really. And you can see that the students who get the least marks get the most teaching comments, and that's what you'd expect. The students who do well don't need so many. And questioning, we believe that questioning would be more in the pass 1, but in fact that was a surprise because it was the language we were using. Instead of saying to a student who was not doing so well, do X, Y, or Z, our tutors say, have you thought about adding X, Y, and Z? And of course, we found very little negativity. You wouldn't want that when you're writing to someone at a distance. But there were, it was very clear things that students had to correct. So we put this into a system called Open Comment, an AI system. The tutor can see all the comments they gave and how they've been categorized. But what's important here is that we're showing you the results from one particular assignment with a grade of 61, not a very high. The student's name, that isn't the student's name, we put a different name in here. But look, this is the feedback to the tutor. For this mark, the tutors know how to mark, they're subject specialists. For the mark you've given them, you gave this number of praise, comments with praise. And underneath, there's an algorithm after we've analysed thousands of these comments. This is the ideal number you need for this mark. And you can see here there's not enough praise, there's not enough teaching comments to help the student go forward, there's not so much questioning, and there was far too much negative. So we've been using this system to train our tutors, and also it's been used by Southampton and King's College University in London. So how can we help students when they're trying to write their assignments, to write essays? This is a project that I led with Oxford University, and it was called SafeC. We built a system called Open Essays to give the students support on the drafts of their assignments when there was no help available to them. So it summarises the students' own work. Why is that important? And why did I go to Oxford to get help? Because in Oxford they were, at the time, the leading scholars in building summaries. And if I understand what you said to me, I can actually say it back to you. In other words, I can summarise it. And that's what the system does for the student. It does it in a number of ways. It looks at the structure of the essay. It gives keywords and phrases, key sentences, and a summarisation. And the front end looks like, the system looks like this. There are hints. The abstract there is a summarisation of what's been said. The students can check if that's what they wanted to write. Here's a keyword discussion block that was very useful to them. If you think about an essay or a report, you have an introduction, you have a conclusion. The introduction tells you what you're going to say, and the conclusion brings the evidence together, expanding on what you said you were going to say, explaining the meaning. And you can see here in this particular essay, the introduction, these are the keywords, but they don't all appear in the conclusion, and so they should match up. And we used this with students, and we found that students who used the system, did more graphs using the system, got better marks, and the mean grade for the overall module for the students in this cohort was much better than in the previous cohort that hadn't used it, with a significance P being 0.4. Now, there are disruptors in our field and pushes from governments. In the UK, micro-credentials are important for upskilling students, but these are in environments where there is no tutor support. So how can we give meaningful feedback in environments like this? We learned from open essayists the importance of visualising the structure. So how could we match the structure to the mark? Let me show you, here's a piece of text. Look at the sentence 2 and sentence 8 in purple and in red. I've put them into a short sentence graph, and you can see how sentences 2 and 8 are linked to the rest of the sentences in the short text. If you put 10 identical paragraphs into the system, you get a pattern like this. And you can see the red, the purple, and the other colours of the rainbow are the other sentences. If it's identical sentences, you get this globular structure. Now, this is really interesting. If you put in a Stanford University Prize essay, you can see that the introduction, the conclusions, and the related text are very tightly bound. There is tremendous coherence. The whole thing links together. Here's an essay with a high grade from one of our students. It's not as good as the Stanford Booth Prize essay, but you can see the coherence and the linking with some extraneous notes. And a low grade, little coherence. So what we did is we looked at these rainbow diagrams against the mark that was given, and we found that essays rated as high would be expected to receive 8.56 percentage points more than essays rated as medium, and 17.2 percentage points higher than essays rated from the rainbow diagrams as low. So coherence is very important in relating a story, an essay, or a report. So COVID was a tremendous disruptor, but we were already running in Europe this Tesla project, where we had 5 technologies incorporated into one system: voice, face recognition, keystroke, pattern detection, anti-plagiarism, forensic analysis. And we were able to use this with students across these universities in Europe, Turkey, Finland, the Netherlands, UK, these two universities were based in Bulgaria and Spain. So we used it with a large number of students, and the outcomes for the students, 50% found the experience very positive, and keystroke dynamics was used a lot and very easy to use, so you can check if the student has written the piece of work, because everyone has their own pattern when they type. But more importantly, what the students felt was important was to ensure that my exam results are trusted and to prove the work is my own. And this is very important. They felt with employers trusting the universities or higher education or FE colleges that were giving them their qualifications, that their work could be trusted and they weren't cheating. So how can AI also support you when your students are not face-to-face, they're in a blended situation and they're working in a virtual learning environment? Here we've got a system in the OU called OU Analyze. It tracks what the students are doing online. There is a machine learning algorithm underneath that can warn the tutor, there's a red here, that the student is not doing so well, and they can contact the student. And we have literature, journal articles that show with this evaluation, more students pass and more students go through into the next module. Now, how can you help your students that are at distance to keep them on track as well? Here's a very simple automated messaging system from UNISA that could actually be used in a chatbot, and it's just telling the students what they're going to do next. Take the practice quiz. Now you need to move on to another assignment. So something that you could do in your blended learning environments to support your students. OpenEssay Optimizer is the next phase of OpenEssay.
Professor Dennis, may we request you to summarize in another 2 minutes?
I beg your pardon?
May we request you to summarize in another 2 minutes?
I finish in 2 minutes, is that what you're saying?
Another 2 minutes if you can summarize. 2
Okay,
minutes.
thank you. So, what we're looking at is using chatbot recommender systems, using robots to give feedback, and we have a disruptive ecosystem, and the pushes of commercial companies and private online learning institutions, government policies for shorter, cheaper courses, of course, COVID-19 or any other disasters such as that. And we're also looking at ChatGPT, where, you know, if students give in their assignments using it, what will happen to their cognitive skills, and something I'm writing about is lethargic cognition. But I think we shouldn't lose sight that the grand challenge for blended learning is to represent all the analysis of learning that can be readily understood by both teachers and students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dennis. We will take the interaction at the end of the session. If possible, kindly stay with us.
And yes, indeed.
Now the second key lecture is being given by Dr. Virender Kumar Vijay. He will speak on how higher education can be connected to community needs in National Education Policy 2020. May I introduce Dr. Vijay Kumar briefly. Dr. Vijay Kumar is the chair professor of Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency, India. He is one of the most acclaimed and internationally known professor in biogas and rural technologies. His concept on linking higher education institutes for village development, biogas purification and bottling technology were well adopted by the Government of India. and has launched programs by concerned ministry in the government. He is also the national coordinator of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So may I request Professor Vijay Kumar to kindly give a lecture and try to take 15 minutes will be great. 15 minutes, 15. Thank you.
Okay. Namaskar. And the very good last 2 days on this international conference on blended learning ecosystem for higher education in agriculture. And for last many years, I am from the Center for Rural Development and Technology in IIT Delhi. And we were making effort that how our education system is connected with the society, with the community, and with the villages. Because still in our country, nearly 65-66% population residing in villages. We have nearly 700,000 villages. And if we talk about urban areas, it is only limited to, say, 800 districts, 100 big cities, 5,000 taluka, tehsil, and other category blocks. So it means still our community and society is living in villages, and the developmental fruits in last 75 years, even 100 years are not reaching to the grassroots, and therefore the people are migrating from rural areas to urban areas in search of job, in search of good quality living, in search of good quality resource and engagement. Therefore, in National Education Policy 2020, government has recognized that the education should be linked to our society, should be linked to our community, should be linked to, in a way that anybody who is going to get any degree, BA, BCom, BSc, BTech, agriculture, should be able to survive after his education and make his career based on his experience of education. So that was the trend in, say, up to 17th century in our education, Guru Shishya Parampara mein. And therefore, in up to 18th century, India was the leading world leader in the economy of the world. We had about more than 1/3 share in the global economy in even up to 18th century. That has destroyed. But now the 21st century is Indian century. We are having the largest number of youth working hands, and they will remain in next 50 years. India will be the largest youth with working hands who will be providing the development and the production system and agriculture system and everything to the world. Therefore, this year is presidency of G20 to India. Our Prime Minister Modi is #1 in the world in approval rating. So, what I would like to mention here that agriculture and not only agriculture but a whole education paradigm should be changed according to our requirement of our society in 21st century so that we can lead the world. Next, please. Next slide. Sorry. Yeah. So the tagline of our program, the transforming higher education and villages for Atmanirbhar Bharat. So when we will empower our rural areas, when we adopt villages to accompany with our education system, our students and faculty members or teachers going to villages, working with the ट्रेडिशनल एग्रीकल्चरलिस्ट जो हमारे किसान हैं, जो हमारे आर्टिजन्स हैं, जो हमारे ट्रेडिशनल विजडम लोगों में हैं, when our students and faculty members are working with them, they will learn the traditional wisdom of the people, जो किताबों में नहीं मिलती है. We have to move towards that कि our education process should be such that everything which is existing in our society should also be learned, and how we can evolve a method which now this conference has given the name blended learning ecosystem. तो मुझे लगता है कि in this new education policy 2020, this is the most valuable contribution from agricultural education side in the context that blended learning ecosystem is developed in all our universities, not only agricultural universities, but all our higher education system. So, you see our vision. Our vision is that Unnat Bharat Abhiyan is inspired by the vision of transformational change in rural development processes by leveraging knowledge institutions to help build the architecture of an inclusive India with experiential learning in students and teachers of higher educational institutes. And accordingly, the mission is that we have to reorient our academic programs in such line of our community requirements, needs, and also our interventions, whether it's the social interventions, management interventions, science and technology interventions, suited to local needs through efficient natural resource management, and also convergence with our all ministries, development programs, Panchayati Raj institutions, district administration, voluntary organizations, grassroots for effective planning, field implementation and monitoring. So, in so I can say that Unnat Bharat Abhiyan program works on the ethos of knowledge sharing, participatory approach and convergence. So when our students and faculty members are going to villages, sitting in the Gram Sabhas, were discussing with the people of rural areas, we don't say that we are professors, we are the learning people. हम उनको जाके कहते हैं नहीं भाई आपको भी समझ है, हमको भी थोड़ी बहुत समझ है, हम आपके साथ बैठ के समझने आए हैं कि हाँ what kind of interventions can be made in rural areas, how the technology, appropriate technology solutions can be found out. Or accordingly, our approach is participatory, we will share knowledge, we will learn knowledge, and this is the cross-learning, interaction and cross-learning with our village community and our students and teachers. And we are resulting out in the development or the interventions which are really useful to the society. So, we started this program in 2014. IIT Delhi has given the concept, Ministry has adopted it as a national program, and now you can see that it has reached to across the country. We are having 45 regional coordinating institutes, nearly 3,471 participating institutes, and it includes all IITs, NITs, ICERs, AIMS, IIMs, central institutes, agricultural institutes, state universities, private, public, everything. And we are working with nearly 17,500 villages, and we have signed MOU with many ministries, TriFed, DST, Nectar, CSIR, and incorporating all the technologies which have been developed in past 75 years and making them appropriate for the rural community, for the society. So the outcome of till now of this our program is that University Grant Commission has started a 2-credit course for all the universities in the country, community engagement and social responsibility. And also AICT has started 100 hours rural intensive program in the country. And the network of many ministries, we are having MOU with Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Agriculture, TriFed, CSIR, DST, Nectar, Vigyan Bharati, Brahma Kumaris, all others, Rotary, and we are partnering with Panchayati Raj institutions. We are working with the Ministry of Panchayati Raj on carbon neutral Gram Panchayats. Now, we are working with the Ministry of Rural Development for livelihood generation programs in rural areas. We are working with CSIR on various technologies which are relevant to rural areas. And therefore, community engagement of higher educational institutions are participating in Gram Sabhas, identify local needs, stakeholders engagement for knowledge-based solutions, and we have developed a portal called Tech for Seva, Technology for Service. And when our students, so we are requesting all our higher education institute to adopt a cluster of 5 villages around them and work for their development. Ministry of Education is provide support of 10,000 rupees per institute per village. So for 5 villages, we are providing 50,000 rupees. If any institute wants to have some technical interventions or customization of technologies, we are providing up to 1 lakh rupees for technology interventions. If any students, any faculty members say develop some technologies which is relevant to rural areas. And when our students are going to villages, they take first work as village adhyan, study of village. Usme their household survey, village survey, then need identification, then appropriate technological interventions which can be made in rural areas in participation with the local people of that village. And then we are having 14 subject expert groups across the country. Every subject expert group is coordinated by some institute like Sustainable Agriculture System. We are having one subject expert group coordinated by Indian Agricultural Research Institute itself. Water Resource Management, IIT Kharagpur. Artisans, Handicrafts, Livelihood by IIT Kanpur. Rural Energy Systems, IIT Delhi. Likewise, Solid Waste Management, IIT Madras. Ethos in Technical Education, IIT Bombay. Curriculum Reforms, University Grant Commission itself. Internship Skill Development, AICT itself. Likewise, we are having 14 subject expert groups. And we are working with nearly 14,000 colleges. And role of we are having IIT Delhi is a national coordinating institutes and having 45 regional coordinating institutes, at least one in every state, and in bigger state 2, 3, 4, 5 up to. So UP has 3, 1 IIT BHU, IIT BHU, IIT Kanpur, and Dayalbagh Agra deemed university. And they are supporting Unnat Bharat Abhiyan program. IIT Delhi is a national coordinating institute of this program, and these subject expert groups to strengthen subject expert network and capacity building of different agroclimatic conditions. So any institute submit some project proposal, so then we can refer it to subject expert group coordinator, and then according to the experts in the agroclimatic region, they evaluate the project, provide mentoring, and then that project is implemented in rural areas with the help of our students and faculty members. So to provide strategies and roadmap in subject areas, to develop technological compendium in subject areas, and to evaluate technical solutions submitted by our participating institutes. And in the NEP 2020, community engagement is a key task in our whole academic programs, and the policy focal point also plays importance of collaboration between higher education institutions and community organizations to promote inclusive and sustainable development. So I hope that the agriculture education system is also following the same way, and we are establishing partnership with community organizations, providing experience and learning opportunities, supporting research and addressing community needs, engaging with local policymakers. And these are the participatory research institutions. So recently our success story booklet was released by Honorable President of India with the Honorable Education Minister were also there. And the 5 thematic areas which Unnat Bharat Abhiyan follows is sustainable agricultural system, rural energy systems, water resource management, artisans, industries, livelihood, basic amenities like infrastructure, school education, digital education, and services. So these are the 5 thematic areas on which Unnat Bharat Abhiyan is supporting the development process. And recently, Honorable Prime Minister has requested that this program in next 10 years, every village in the country should be connected to some higher education institutes. So we will be having nearly 55,000 colleges and then 7 lakh villages. So every village should be connected to some higher education institute in the country for their development, and district administration like district collectors and all the body of district administration should also be collaborated in the development process. So the Prime Minister has given a roadmap that if India has to become a developed country in next 25 years, in our Amrit Kal, he has mentioned the Amrit Kal of the next 25 years is an opportunity to march ahead with a new resolve to realize the vision of a developed India in which education and rural development play key roles. So we have to remember that education and rural development is a key development process where India can become the developed country in next 25 years and after 100 years of our independence. So I am not going in detail with all these things. Why community engagement through higher education institutions is required? Because the vision of higher education will require in particular a new conceptual perception, understanding for what constitute a higher education institution, whether it's agriculture or a medical or a law or technology or engineering or arts. a university or a college. A university will mean a multidisciplinary institute of higher learning that offers undergraduate or graduate programs with high quality teaching, research, and community engagement. Therefore, community engagement is the key in the 21st century education process. And therefore, towards the attainment of such a holistic and multidisciplinary education, the flexible and innovative curricula of higher educational institutions shall include credit-based courses and projects in the area of community engagement and services, environmental education, value-based education, and agricultural education. And therefore, agricultural education should also be part of it. And I will just like to close. These are some success stories. So there are more than hundreds of success stories. So few pictures have been given here. And UGC is having 7 regional centers, university, master trainer for this 2 credit course in the country. And 1 year program is already completed, and many institutes have started this course. And IIT Delhi has also adopted a few villages, and we are working with these. And I would like to mention here that with the efforts of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, we are working with nearly 17,000 plus villages. And in many villages, per household income has increased 1.5 to 2 times in last 4-5 years. So this is achievement, and we can say that our perception of our education, perception of our students about learning process is changing, and a different kind of understanding and research needs are emerging. And those are the needs of this country. Therefore, I would like to say that education should be man-making, life-giving, and character-building. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vijay, for very comprehensive presenting about the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, its framework and its vision, mission, and how it works throughout the country, and its community engagement, etc. Maybe there will be many questions, but we'd like to take up later at the end of session. So for the third keynote lecture, I would like to invite Dr. Alka Mishra. She would be speaking on Indian Open Data Platform Outreach, stakeholder outreach on higher education. Before she speaks, I would like to briefly introduce her. Dr. Alka Mishra is the Deputy Director General of National Informatics Center, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. She has been the driving force behind the architecture of the citizen engagement and service delivery e-governance platform, the largest crowdsourcing platform of the Government of India, such as MyGov and National Portal of India. So I'd like to request Dr. Alka Mishra again to please limit her lecture to 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. At the outset, I would like to thank ICR for giving me this opportunity. And I would say this conference is very well timed and a most apt conference where we talk of, blending of knowledge with the community and how we can do wonders together. I am very sure that each one of you are fully aware if I talk of what is open. Open is something which is not close to your heart or your chest in files and silos and in your website. So if we come to data, then data once it is open means it is machine readable and anybody can use it, reuse it and redistribute, and that's the beauty. So when we talked of community engagement, all the government organizations, institutions, maybe even academia, research, we all know the amount of data that we collect, lots and lots of it. But if we keep it to ourselves, close to our files and websites, it is not put of much use. So once you open it up, sky is the limit, and you can do so many more wonders, coming up with innovative ideas, researches, analysis, using that data, which is the government data which was lying in your files. So it opens transparency, brings in innovation, participation, and community engagement. Name it, and everything is there. So the benefits are number, and we all know what are the benefits. I've just talked about it. So now, if you come to the genesis of this India's national data platform, it was way back with the US engagement. Unfortunately, that time in India, we did not realize that data should be shared. We knew how valuable data is. We all knew that data is oil, data is fuel, and maybe today the data is platinum or gold. But this initiative came up only with the US government when they wanted to do away with their proprietary system and wanted to move to OpenStack tools and technology for their data.gov. So this was a collaborative effort. India and US got together and their data.gov evolved. Thereafter, we had a number of brainstorming sessions in India itself because our policy was also announced that was called National Data Sharing and Accessibility Policy, wherein we wanted to customize the work that we had done for the Indian system and Indian government. So this policy said that it is proactive release of data sets by each one of you, including me. So the data that is collected using taxpayers' money should be proactively released in an open format on the platform called data.gov.in, and so that it is machine readable. Now the stakeholders primarily at that time was DST, Science and Technology, headed by Secretary DST, and after that it was said that the platform would be implemented by Ministry of Electronics and IT, National Informatics Center. And then we had number of stakeholders, and with time the stakeholders all increased. The ministries, the departments, the states, the districts were all the stakeholders of this. And then over the time you will realize the community evolved. Dr. Vijay talked about how important it is in taking education to the community, trying to understand what is it that they need, and tailor customizing your education system to meet their requirements. So the community evolved, whether it was the researcher, whether it was the academia, industry, startups, or SMEs, or a developer. So this was the ecosystem. A very robust ecosystem is there, not to talk about or boast about the technology behind it. It can be easily scaled out, and lots of data sets can be contributed here for an end user to use any of the data, government data that they want to use. So this ecosystem was there, and if I just give you a simple view, the government at all the three tiers, whether it is the center, the state, the districts, they are actually the ones who own the data, who collect the data. So the government used to put the data on this data platform in any of the ways. If it's a small organization, they upload the data. If it's a big organization having their own MIS and their own data center, they can link the data. So all the methods were available for the end user to download this data in whichever form they want, whether through API or just download a data set as a CSV or a JSON. And if you see at the bottom, people got together using this data, engaging with the data, and the community evolved, whether it was the agriculture community or the education community or the energy or the health. So the community evolved because of opening the data. This is just a governance structure. I will not take 2 minutes also on it. To see that the timely data moves to this platform, each department nominated a senior officer known as chief data officers, and these data officers were responsible for spearheading this initiative, and along with this small cell of data contributors would contribute the data. Now, these are some of the features which data.gov.in has, and you can use it even in your own websites. We've got widget, which allows you to take the code, put it in your website if you're looking for agriculture data or health data or education data, All that is there. A visualization engine is there. You can use that. And there is something called high-value data sets. So data which is of ultimate use to the end user can be marked as a high-value data set, which is of importance to be contributed. There was a bulk upload also and a bulk download. So a lot of data, if you want the entire commodity data sets of the market prices, you can download in one bulk and through the API and use it in applications of visualizations. So there is a dashboard available, and this is also available as a software as a service. All the smart cities have got data.gov.in instance, and the smart cities are using that itself. Then we have the state instances, whether it is Tamil Nadu or Kerala or Haryana, they also have the state instances, and we have got around 6 lakh data sets already on this platform. Sky is the limit. You can do a lot, engage with it, use the data and come up with your own stories, visualizations, research papers. You all need the data. So anybody who downloads this data set, we take the reason why they are downloading and a small, like you can say, that knowledge that we got, academia is downloading 82% of the data. So you can understand how much it is useful for their research, for their analysis. Business, we never thought that business would be 8%, much more than the government. That means startups, MSMEs, developers are using this data to come up with an innovative applications. Then the government and others are only 4. So the number of data sets which agriculture sector has contributed are huge. We have more than 1,27,000 data sets, which only the agriculture sector has contributed. You can go to the platform, see which data you want, engage with it, and use it. Now, these are some of the data sets and the frequency we have written, which comes. Now, can you imagine? We have got around 1,12,000 data sets, which is coming daily through an API on this platform. Around 120 data sets are monthly. Annual is 3,980, and even 5-yearly data we have around 1,500, which is put every 5 years. Now these are through, when I say it is 1,20,000 data sets which is coming every day, it is definitely through an API from your system to that system. It is automatically coming. And how many times it has been downloaded? Just see, 1 lakh data sets downloaded 10 lakh times. Definitely people are using the data which government is collecting. And what are the major data sets of agriculture? You can go to your data.gov.in, select filter agriculture, and you can see all this data. PM Kisan, soil moisture, then we have rainfall data, 100 years of rainfall data is available, soil order, ICR technology repository, name it, and you have all the data there. Even the agriculture marketing data sets are available here. And then we have got all this crop-wise irrigated area under land use survey, agriculture census. The complete census data is available. You can use it in your own way for your research, analysis, for charts, graphs, for infographics, because all this data was there in the websites, but in a non-usable format, which was PDF, and you couldn't really come out with any meaning of this data.
About the all mission, mandate, objectives, achievements, and how the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan can be linked with blended learning for the rural ecosystem. Dr. Alka Misra has introduced us the National Government Portal, and particularly as in the previous sessions also we have discussed that sharing has to be the mechanism for interoperability among different platforms if really blending has to be done. And open government data platform through web services sharing data, this has been made possible. And one example, we have also shared from our ICR through Krishi portal several data sets, whatever we could share in open access through ICR data use license, and downloaded all 36 million records of Kisan call center data and created our own portal KCC Chaksu, and also are able to publish 3 good research papers and creating insights and alerts based on that data. Therefore, let us start sharing with quality, relevance, and timeliness. Thank you very much. Let's once again thank all this. Thanks to Dr. Dennis. Dr. Dennis, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, thank you very much for being with us. We hand over to sir.
Thank you, sir.
We hand it over to the convener.
Thank you, sir. So with this, we come to the end of this session. Professor Dennis Whitelow, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Madam, we are extremely grateful to you and thankful to you for being with us in this, and the organizer will be sending the memento to you. So extremely grateful to you for being with us. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you.
So now I will request Dr. B.N. Tripathi sir and Dr. Rajendra Prasad ji to please come in front of the dais so that we can present the mementos to our keynote speakers, as we love our token and affection and gratefulness to the keynote speakers. Please, sir. Now I will request Professor Vijay Kumar to please come on the dais to receive the memento. Thank you, sir. Now I will request Dr. Alka Mishra ji to please come on the dais. Now I will request Dr. Mohapatra sir and Dr. Arvind Kumar sir to please come on the dais so that we can present a memento to Dr. Tripathi sir. Dr. Arvind Kumar sir and Dr. Mohapatra sir. Sir, please come on the dais. Mohapatra. Dr. R.B. Singh sir. Sir, will you please come on the dais? दीजिए. Now a small memento to our director, Dr. Rajendra sir. I will now request both the reporters to please come and join us, Dr. Sumen Pal and Dr. Chandan. Will you please come on the dais to join us? So last but not the least, we are extremely grateful to you, to both the co-chairs, Dr. B.N. Tripathi sir and Dr. Rajendra Prasad sir, for being with us and conducting this session so smoothly. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you one and all.
यह दुनिया का